we've just helped our client produce 30K in new installations. It was a good marketing process from us, which I'm going to go into. But from their side of things as well, their sales process was completely dialed in. And today I decided that I was going to give away the full process for free for you guys. Number one is the marketing side of things. There's marketing and then the sales. The marketing side of things we are responsible for. The sales process side of things is what they're responsible for. So first of all, we have the ads platform. We typically use Meta here because of the sheer reach that the platform has. It has 3 billion users, meaning it literally has the vast majority of the adult English speaking population using Facebook. So we use Meta for this reach. As you can see here, we have the different angles. You have different static angles and different video angles. We wanted to test both, and this is known as the testing phase. What we'll do is we'll go through, we'll test loads of angles, and then there's going to be a winning angle with a much lower cost per lead than the rest. So you've got a winning video and you've got a winning static here. The good part about working with us is that we've already gone through these testing phases. We've been in the industry for 3 years plus. The industries that we work with, they don't have to suffer from high cost per leads and all that sort of stuff. We just charge carbon energy savings per lead, which fitted really nicely within their margins. So from the winning angles, it comes to a website. So the funnel goes to a website. And the reason why we do this is because it adds a layer of friction to filter out the uninterested prospects, as opposed to just grabbing interest from the platform. So let's say we had a lead form on Facebook. That would not necessarily mean that the lead is that qualified because they didn't actually have to leave the platform, didn't actually create any friction. Whereas if you send them to the website, it creates a little bit of friction there, and they actually have to be interested to go to that next stage. From there, they're either going to be not interested or they're going to fill out the detailed lead quiz. The reason why we do this is number one, to capture details, and then number two, to make sure that they're actually a qualified buyer. So what we can do as well is we will filter out the unqualified buyers. Let's say someone lives in a flat and you're trying to install solar, then obviously they're not going to be viable for solar, so we'll filter those out. Next of all is that they're going to be webhooked into their CRM. This has now become a part of the sales process, which is their side of things. From the webhook into the CRM, next thing is that their agent is going to be on the phone within 5 minutes. And this is so crucial. Why is that? Because contacting a lead within the first 5 minutes makes you 21 times more likely to turn them into a sales opportunity compared to contacting them after 30 minutes. From here, they can either answer or they won't answer. If they don't answer, this is really key here as well. A lot of companies just give up at the first hurdle. But the top sales teams in the game have mapped out their nurture process, such as call within 5 minutes, call 2 hours later with an email and an SMS, another call 6 hours later with another call, another email, and SMS. Call 24 hours later with another email and SMS. Then they add them on Facebook as a friend request. Then 24 hours later again, call, Facebook message, SMS, email. You see what I mean? You need to be on the leads. When they opt in, you've got a certain time window, that 24 to 48 hours, there needs to be at least 8 to 10 touch points if they haven't answered yet. Let's say they eventually do answer and they get on the phone with them. These agents at Carbon Energy Savings, they are prepared with every objection, every question, every scenario that may potentially occur with that lead. By being prepared, they can overcome those objections, understand which objections are just objections and which objections are just smoke screens and which objections actually make them an unqualified lead, and they just progress to the next stage depending on what they get. They're either going to be booked or they're either going to be not viable for solar. And if they're booked, then the site survey is going to take place. And this is another crucial part, guys. The whole site survey process for them is entirely mapped out. This is from doorstop objections. When they get to the door initially, is the homeowner going to throw something out where they become a little bit unsure? Are they prepared for that? Because if your agent isn't prepared for that, then they get to the front door, they get a loose objection, they get fobbed off. Whereas if they know exactly what to do in that scenario and they've prepared for that, then they're going to be in a 10 times better of a scenario. Next up is the process of educating the customer. That's after they get through the door. How can they educate the customer, take the customer through their house to show them exactly what's going on in their house and become the trusted advisor? Are they building trust and rapport? Are they building an actual relationship with that person and their wife or husband or whoever it is? Because at the end of the day, if you're not building a good relationship with someone, then you're never going to close them. Next up is, are you building authority? So do you come across as someone who they should listen to because you've had such good experience and such long experience within the game? Next up is, how does your presentation and visuals look? Yeah. Can you create the presentation so that it overcomes objections before they even arise? And then finally, how do you get the signing on the dotted line? There is a process to that as well. And the key here is making sure that each one of these steps is intentional and the agents are trained on them. So from here, they're either closed or they're not closed. If they're not closed, then there needs to be another intentional nurture process from that point. Because if you've had a site survey, that person is clearly interested enough for you to come around their house and give them a quote. If you have gone round and given them a quote, they need to be nurtured heavily. And that includes rapport building. So continuing to build that relationship with them. They might not be there yet in terms of trust. Number two is building authority. Are you the person that they want to come to? They might look for other quotes online. How do you put yourself and position yourself as the person, the go-to person for them? And then next up is understanding the initial objection. If they didn't close on the day, then you need to understand exactly what that is, exactly the reason why they didn't go ahead. And finally, they close. Once they close, you make some money. And this is exactly what determined the success for our campaign with Carbon Energy Savings. The next thing that I want to go to here is the crucial variables out of all of the stuff that I just mentioned that determines huge profitability. Number one, from the marketing side, is us testing more angles to give clients a better CPL. If a marketing department or a marketing company that you're working with is not able to get you a good CPL because they're not testing enough, then that's on them. That's going to reduce the profitability of campaigns overall, and it's going to make everyone less competitive. Number two is adding 3 steps to the funnel to make sure only qualified leads come through. Facebook ad, educating the customer, to a website funnel where they get even more educated and fill out a quiz form. Once they go through the quiz form, are they a qualified customer based on the answers that they put into the quiz funnel? If yes, then they come through to the sales department. Then you get to the sales department. Has the lead been called in under 5 minutes? That is crucial. Just like I said before, 21 times more likely to convert that lead into an appointment or convert that lead in general if you get in contact within the first 5 minutes. Next up is the initial call fully prepared. Have you mapped out every single scenario and trained your agent on every single scenario that initial call could have? A lot of people complain about free solar, all that sort of stuff. But really, what is that objection? It's a money objection. And if you haven't trained your agent on overcoming money objections, then you're never going to make money. Most of our customers convert their customers on finance deals because they understand that 10 to 12K isn't just lying around 24/7 for these solar deals. But if you have the proper process and companies that back you to offer those alternative solutions to your clients, then you're going to be in a much better position. Next up is the lead doesn't answer. What do you do then? Most people give up, but if you have a 2-week re-engagement process, from the second that the lead comes in, they don't answer initially, you got that 2-week engagement process, you're going to be in 10 times of a better situation and you're going to close 10 times more deals. Next up is a site survey process. Every single step was intentional with those guys. This is how they converted 30K from 2K spend. Every single step is intentional. The doorstop objections, how to come across an authority, how to educate the customer, how to build rapport. All these sorts of things are so important. And finally, we have the hard metrics. What did they spend? They spent 2.2K and they created 30K from that. What was their cost per lead? £45 to us per lead. Cost per appointment was £220. They managed to convert 1 in 5 or 6 to appointment, roughly. And their cost per confirmed appointment, so sat and qualified appointment, was 367. Cost per pitch was 551. And their cost per sale was 1,100. So that means that out of every 2 pitches that they've done, they closed 1 of those deals. That is insane close rate. That is an insane close rate. And that just goes to show every single step of the process in terms of the site survey process and how that is carried out, that needs to be dialed in. And once you get that dialed in, you have a hugely profitable company, which you can scale infinitely. And this doesn't just apply to this industry alone. If you have a good sales process for any sort of industry that you work in, you're going to be in a 10 times better of a situation. So that's it, guys. Marketing to sales. They have to be in congruence. And if they do work in congruence, you're going to get a case study like this. If you guys want more information on potentially how we could help you with your marketing, let me know.